Yeah, I would, though, try to consolidate as much as possible and move forward as much as possible, even though things are more or less set, particularly the drum set. But still, you want to consolidate your, having this really big gap between the percussion station over here and the timpani kind of, or bass drum. It's not necessary, and if at all possible, you want to make sure that you're as tight a team back there as possible, physically as well as musically. Excellent playing, by the way.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed your. Being a percussionist, I particularly watch and listen for percussionists. Unfortunately, that's not the greatest of bass drums. So,
yeah.
And your mallet is hard, so it wasn't really putting a bottom on the band very well. You should probably always travel with two. You should always travel with two bass drum sticks anyway. A compressed felt for the really powerful whams that you need, and a softer chord, softer felt covered mallet for, and that would make a softer chord mallet would make a much better sound on that bass drum. Okay, well, I wrote all my comments on the scores, so so let's. Since I'm speaking to percussion, let's start with Sphinx. Really enjoyed this piece, and it's a new one to me. It's a great piece of music, I think. It was a great choice. All three of your pieces were great choices, actually. Some of the best literature out there. And congratulations for, mind you, you didn't choose it. Mr. Thompson chose it, right? So it's him we're congratulating. So percussion, nicely done. On the, you can be stronger on the wood block. Good idea. Was it a tempo block you were on there, or wood block? A tempo block, yeah. Right. Okay, so like percussion is only going to be really effective if you step up to the plate, like you did on your crescendos to double forte. Now that was terrific. I really enjoyed your work dynamically. Most school timpanists don't play out when it's the time to play out. So glad you did. Mind you, technically, you're using way too much one hand. You've probably been told that, but yeah, you really need to be a two-handed player.
Yeah, I'm used to having this one over here. At the same time, it isn't.
Really? Well, the large timpani is always on the left.
Yeah, I know. I should get used to that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the only problem I had was the triangle. Triangle part wasn't projected. It didn't sound like it was a very fine, very great sounding triangle. I'm not sure what you've got back there. But the triangle needs to be really projected. It's got to have this wonderful ping that projects right to the back of the room. Show me what you've got there. Yeah, it's a pretty small one, isn't it? Yeah. One about twice as big would be a good idea. One of the best triangles out there is an Abel, A-B-E-L triangle, and it's just a gorgeous ping sound that just really travels. Anyway, play it more aggressively, use the tip of the beater, the last half inch or so, and lift it up, at least shoulder. All hand percussion needs to be played shoulder or head height, so it really projects. Always make sure that happens. I couldn't hear the rain stick, unfortunately. You probably would have to be standing out here on the lip of the stage for us to really hear it. I suggested more suspended cymbal maybe to make up for the lack of volume on the rain stick. Speaking of cymbal, I didn't hear any in bar 20. I don't know Getting back to the wind instruments, really good unison work here. As you know, unisons are the hardest things to play in tune because playing right into the core of the pitch is the only way to make a unison sound beautiful, and it's one of the most beautiful sounds there is. A beautifully played unison. Okay, getting more into the piece. Well done at bar 33. Nice crisp staccatos there. It's very effective. Good work. Excellent timpani crescendo into 41. And low brass, tenor, and bass voices. Well, not the bass, actually, just tenor voices. Really well done with your low, slow-moving line in this section at 41. Very, very nicely done. We needed way more soloistic percussion from bass drum and cymbals at, I believe it's 49, and again at 51. Those are solos, right? So it should be really soloistic. Wham! On the bass drum, like you're just about ready to knock it off the stand. And cymbal crash. Just huge. Why? Because they're solos. Soloistic, yeah. And so don't be timid. Don't be aggressive with your percussion. And without a gong, do you have a gong? No. So without a gong, hit the cymbal on either suspended cymbal on either sides, and get as big a sound. It's better than nothing, for sure. Okay, trumpet 1. We needed more from you in 53. A few times there were some balance problems. Make sure that you are always listening for balance. Ask yourself, do I have the melody or do I have the accompaniment? If it's melody, you got to bring it out. If it's accompaniment, back off. So be sure that you're always balancing to your melody and balancing to the upper chord so that the second and third parts are slightly louder than the first parts, because we hear the first parts, as you know. We hear them more audibly. Excellent work again in the tenor voices as the piece, very effective at 100, this section at 100. And again, very successful trombone and euphonium part in there, really, and well done at 111 and on. Good forte piano. Never squander the chance to play an incredible forte piano. It's a sting and disappear. Right? D, E. So you should be so soft on the other side of the forte that it's almost like, where'd the band go? Oh, there they are, as you crescendo, as you come back. So hold it back at 115. You've got, those of you with the forte piano, it's a 2-bar. It's 8 beats. So you sting and disappear and hold it down, hold it down, hold it down. Then bring it back. It's going to be so much more effective. So even softer on the piano side. And very strong ending. I enjoyed it, except we have a percussion solo in the second bar from the end on the third beat. Actually, it says whip, but you don't have to play a whip. What did you play?
Have the snaps, 2 blocks, but I don't see problems then.
Oh, you percussionist, you. Well, so substitute. Don't hesitate. Percussion is the art of improvisation, of instruments. So you didn't have the whip? What's closest to a whip in that sound? Some good hard smack, right? Well, think of something and do it. Sure, you bet. Something for that solo. Okay, some quick comments to to you about 3 airs. The 3 airs was, again, a wonderful piece of music, and good articulation happening. The crispness of the staccatos could be a little bit T, using a T syllable, to or T, to, open-ended, so we hear the vowel in the staccato, to, T, do. Just a little bit more crispness in the staccato, especially in the clarinet line at 9. Interesting to see you know what the nickname of that is? Fish hook. Yeah. The fish hook saxophone. Great to see that. Yeah, a little crisper there, and in the flutes too at 26, a little bit more crisp. T T T T 2, T T T T 2. Really bounce lightly. More triangle. You thought you heard more cowbell, right? Well, this is more triangle. I want more triangle up there, for sure. Hold it up, loud and proud. Just make sure you use the tip of the beater. Otherwise, if you hit it further down on the beater, it sounds like a clang instead of a ping. Okay, moving along quickly here. Okay, at 59, we needed more second and third parts. And always make sure that if you are second this or third that, make sure you are balancing, because those parts are lower. And as being lower, they're harder to hear, because the higher the note, the easier it is to hear. So second and third parts are so important, and they have to come through with that kind of clarity. So going on then into part 2, more soloistic from the alto sax. Who is the alto playing that melody? Great. Okay, so play out more. I know it's written softly, but really it has to sound like a solo. So play out. Just let your part really sing out into the room. And those of you who have a dotted half note, before 83, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars before 83, dotted half or half, find your part. Make sure you hold that right out to the end of the phrase. Some of you bailed a little early on that one. Same thing, same problem in 99, bar 99. Crescendo off your half note. Dee, 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 dee. Make sure you're connecting. Forward motion. Same thing with trumpet a couple of bars later. You have the same melody there. So push forward into the bar off the half note. More soloistic before 115. Play out, bell up, bells up, first trumpet. Be more confident with your pickup into 119. I know it's soft, but it's better to be a little bit more full in sound with a tenuto kind of feel than backing off and being afraid of the soft dynamics. So be sure you lean into your pickups. They're so important. And the fifes of Wembley, clarity in the snare drum part. Make sure that 2-bar phrase is really clear. There's a diminuendo, right? Be sure that you are really nailing that excellently. Wonderful baritone part. Who's the euphonium player? Yeah, just you? Yeah. Terrific sound. Well done. I mean, beautiful counter melody comments you're making at 141. Aren't those great parts? Yeah. That's what the baritone or euphonium is so well known for. It's just having these little these beautiful melodic counter melodies in concert band music. It's a great part. First trumpet, we need more projection from you at 148. And Again, really good work on euphonium at 176. In your ending, it could have been stronger. More clarity. D, da, dee, da, dee, da, dee, da, da. Just a little bit, because it's fast. Make sure that it's really clear. And we need way more bass on that ending. Boom, boom, boom. That's so important. We get that huge sound from the bass voices. You should make sure you balance to the bass. Okay, and your salute to Sultan. Nicely played march. I thought it was a little maybe on the slow side, but it still was excellent. Bass drum mallet, again, too hard. We had that conversation already. But good work overall. Bring out those quarter triplets before the first ending. 26, even softer. Clarity and the dee, dee, da, 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 dum. Woodwinds, when you have slurred passages where you can't tongue, so you can't aid the rhythm with the tongue, make sure you've got, and this applies to all of you, when it's slurred, put the rhythm of the music you're playing into your fingers as aggressively as you can. I call it snapping the fingers. So you are so you're fingering it as aggressively as you can. And that helps the rhythm come out in your playing. Because you can't tongue it, at least you can really snap the fingers down aggressively, and that will help, especially in this area before bar 40. That's a good example of that. Okay. Really solid at 58. That was well done. And again, holding notes out their full value at bar 80 into 81. Those of you who have a whole note in bar 80, some of you didn't release, you did release too soon. Make sure it's all the way up to at least beat 1 and maybe even beat 2. Depends on what Mr. Thompson likes there, but full, absolute full. Trumpets, and trombones, you really need to project more at 86. Because it's in your low range trumpets, it's not as easy to project, is it? But trombones and trumpets, alto sax, first alto, really bring that one out. It's fortissimo, so, but solid ending. So, all in all, a very good performance today. Congratulations. I enjoyed your playing, and I hope that you carry on with all that great stuff into grade 11 and 12.